what do your clients have to overcome
Yeah.
to get here too?
Yeah. And for the Test and Magical, it's a little bit different because it's their clients. But when we're talking about video coaching or becoming confident on video, I like people to think of video as an opportunity. And so whether you're in the corporate world and you have your video turned off all the time, or you're an entrepreneur and you're putting yourself out there, your visibility is so important. Now, for me, I love that you asked the question, like, what did I have to overcome? Because most people assume she's the video lady. Of course, she's going to be amazing on video. And that was not true. Now, I didn't puke before I had to put myself on, but I was like a pro procrastinator. Like I was learning to put myself out there. I was translating all my video skills to an online world. Suddenly I was going from behind the camera to in front of the camera. So again, what kept popping up was like, I'm an expert and I suck at this. And so I didn't want to suck. I didn't want to put myself out there and feel like an amateur. And this is why I think I'm good at the coaching part of it, is because the women I work with or the executives I work with, they're used to being a pro at whatever it is they do. And suddenly you have to put yourself in front and all of the things come up. All of the things.
I was just going to share with that. I know you're about ready to go into it, but I noticed that too. Like I'm Fortune 500 sales executive. I'm on videos all the time. And then I go to do my own work and the camera's on me by myself. And I'm like, the barfing happened because I was like,
call it the Cindy Brady.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm vulnerable. Now it's just me. Now it's also my own material. Is anyone going to listen to me? Does anybody even care? Perfectionism steps in and then anxiety and all the other stuff unfolded. So let's dive into that.
I had to overcome all of that. Being behind the camera does not equate being amazing on camera. Just want everybody to know that. But what I did was I committed to going live, and I went live. This is about 7 years ago, maybe almost 8 years ago, once a week. So I always say there's a magic formula. You have to commit. So I had to commit and say, I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to weave in because your other question was kind of like, what does that story lead into, or what was my impetus? And that is I kept watching people with far less experience than me put out video courses, and they're giving all this video advice, which was not accurate. So I had far more experience. And they're getting out there, but I can't hold that against them because I wasn't putting myself out there.
Right,
so
exactly.
Commit, right? So you have to commit, you have to have clarity on whatever it is you're talking about, and then you have to be consistent. And so I committed and I was like, okay, I'm going to go live. I did it every Wednesday at 1 p.m. It was almost like a lunch and learn type thing. I did it every week and I did it for years. And that is how I became, then I say this in air quotes, the video lady, simply from putting myself out there. And so you can create your own authority, but you have to actually put yourself out there. And so there's so many fears. And I even came up with Perfectionist Patty is my,
I love Perfectionist Patty.
Right. And I had her illustrated because she is a biatch, right? And she sits on your shoulder and she tells you all the things that are wrong and why you shouldn't be on video. And obviously we all know that this is your inner critic. We all know it. And we allow it to take over and prevent us from being seen. And so really, I just kind of got in front of the camera and I kept doing it. I talk about the expectation gap a lot of when you are really good at what you do, you expect to show up and do everything really well, especially later in life. And so that expectation gap is that I'm going to go on camera and I'm going to be really good at it. And nobody does. That's not the way it works. So the expectation gap is the place where you're starting and the place where you want to be. And that the middle is not that far, but you have to be a beginner. And I always tell people, embrace the suck. You're not going to be great at it at first.
I love that you just said embrace the suck, and my makeup is running, and that's happening in real life because I just did my makeup and you made me laugh and then I teared and now my mascara wants to run. But anyway, moving on. In other news, I really like that you said that because when you're first coming onto video, you need to embrace the suck. It's new, but it is also so freaking powerful.
Yes.
It's so powerful. And I want to ask you, what have you learned about people and video? Like, if you had to call up one or two ahas, what would you say?
The first aha is when people start to do video. They do make the commitment and they decide they're going to be consistent and they work with me on the clarity, like, what should I be talking about? That's a realistic, like, what do I talk about? That's different for everybody. I would say the biggest aha people have when they reach out to me, it's some version of, I went live and didn't die. And I feel like that's what you said to me because I had a version of that. But honestly, that's how much fear is behind it. Once you start to do it, it's like, oh my gosh. And then other people are like, I can't, once I got over myself. And that's what it is. It's getting over yourself. And then the second thing with video is simply, I say excuses are like belly buttons. Everybody has them, but they're useless. And so there
Hilarious.
are so many excuses that you use and you think they're truths. Like when one more person comes to me and says like, I don't know the right equipment. And I'm like, no, that's an excuse because you can YouTube what equipment do I need? And you will see some of my videos. So you have the power to actually take care of that, but it's an excuse. And so that people, once they learn like, oh, you're right, I was just doing that. But again, what comes out of that, oh my gosh, it's not as hard as I thought it was the other side of that, which is, oh my gosh, I have people who are being sought after for speaking or to write books, or you're simply putting yourself out there and saying, here's what I do, here's what I can do for you. And then you become the authority.
I love that so much. And I just want to share with the audience that she's not BSing. This is what she really says in real life. Because I don't know if you remember telling me this, but in one of my barfing episodes, you had told me that this isn't about you. And you said it in both a funny way and also you really do need to get over yourself because barfing means you're making this all about you.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, that comes with a little caveat though, because it's easier to say get over yourself than it is to actually get over yourself. But what I like to say is you simply have to make your desire to reach people greater than the fear. And that's what I mean by it's not about you, because it is you on camera, but it isn't about you. And so many people get caught up in the, what do I look like? What do I sound like? Oh no, I fumbled. And the thing about video is, and your audience is, they don't want it to be perfect. They want you to be humans by human to human. And I will stand by that until the day I die, because I can love your product, but if I don't have a good feeling for who's behind that product, I'm not going to buy in.
And nothing like video does that. Like I'm just starting to step into my video power, but it is helping me connect with my audience. I'm very comfortable in words because I'm a writer, but the video, she gives me like gentle pushes like, hey girl, you got to get up there and do some more video. And then I do more video and I'm like, oh my God, it worked.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. And I'm connecting to my audience because they feel like they're talking to me and like all this magic happened, which it leads me into the next question that I originally wanted to ask, but I wanted to backtrack and talk about what did you learn first? It's like, why are you so passionate about this? Like, what have you seen in your clients and why?
So my why is inspiration. Like, I really just want to inspire people to step into their own light. So what wakes me up and what gives me the chilly bumples is just watching someone like you, Becca, right? Like, and what's funny is coming from Nancy Levin, who is also what I'll call video resistant. I have a type. They are video resistant and suddenly go, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's watching someone imperfectly step into their light and suddenly things start happening for them. Suddenly they do get recognized. And that to me, like, I mean, I'm going to get teary eyed because that's really powerful. And truly it's just getting over themselves and getting comfortable with a medium they're not comfortable with. And so oftentimes I'll almost not downgrade, but say like, it's not like I'm changing the world. And my coach will correct me and be like, except for that you are. You are helping people who are changing the world, who will stay hidden on the sidelines. And that's the thing is nobody can work with you, buy from you, if they don't know who you are. And video is the medium.